Hi, this is Abul Hussain coming to you direct from London, the United Kingdom, and welcome to another episode of the SMMA Mastermind podcast, where we talk about how you can start or scale your digital marketing agency. And we also bring on subject matter experts to help us to share their wisdom with us, to upskill us to deliver better results for our clients. Now, if you are watching this episode outside of our Facebook group, make sure to find the link above or below this video, or go to smmamastermind.com, especially if you're in the agency community and you want to join a like-minded community of 2,500 people. With that out of the way, I have a very special guest joining me all the way from Ohio. She is the founder of Marketing Juice, and her name is Miranda Imperi. We are going to talk about her digital marketing journey, as well as how she is delivering great results for her clients. Miranda, welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Thank you, Jeff, very much for joining me. Now, for the people who might not know who you are, how about a little bit of an introduction? How did you get into the digital marketing space?
Sure. So I don't have any real classical training or education in the marketing space. I actually started my career in sales, and I pursued a real estate career, which led me to a lot of different marketing strategies to try and market the properties that I was charged with sourcing renters and buyers for. And I realized very quickly that the passion that I had for that job was really had to do with the marketing aspect of the responsibilities. And so I quickly became enamored with the marketing industry and the technical aspects of the marketing industry that I didn't know about at the time. And I spent a couple of years just, self-study, really just trying to absorb as much as I could. I had a job with a SEO agency early on that really sparked my interest into the analytical components of marketing. The link development strategies were fascinating to me. And I kind of graduated up the rungs of that company, and really realized that there was a big hole in the agency world supporting small businesses and locally owned businesses. Traditionally, the spend is too high for a small business owner. And small business owners need more support than these large corporate entities, and really can't afford it. And so I ended up leaving my career in 2015 to start Marketing Juice to help the small business owner. And we've grown incredibly since then, just through word of mouth. And right now we're supporting almost 30 small businesses all over the US.
No, that's awesome backstory there. Now, do you work in any particular industry, or do you work with any type of small business, I suppose?
We work in any industry. Our criteria really is that the company is small, so under 20 employees. Typically, our clients are under $1 million in annual revenue. And we aim to just function as an outsourced marketing department for them. We do have exclusivity with our clients, so we only work with one client per industry. So we don't take on like competitor business of our current clients.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, a lot of, I suppose, agency veterans would think your approach is quite counterintuitive, because obviously people start an agency, they want to make money. So they go and pitch businesses that might have a marketing budget from which that they can pay you. Whereas small business owners, first you need to educate them on marketing. And then after you've convinced them that they need to do marketing, you need to convince them to choose you. How has your experience been in, I suppose, securing small business clients?
Well, that's interesting. I get that feedback a lot from other agency owners, actually. Like, how did you break into the small business market? They're definitely a challenging sector of clients. I am very passionate about the small business owner perspective and experience. And so, the goal that wasn't really, when I started my agency, to just grow into a giant agency with 25 account managers. It was just to replace my cushy corporate salary, and it's really grown from there. And I really didn't anticipate having as much business as we do have today when I originally started. So it's kind of interesting. I developed a program where we offer free social media classes to small business owners, because we know that there is still a pretty large population of small business owners who just can't afford to hire marketing support. And I've always been of the mindset that, you know, I've taught myself 100% of what I know today, and that when I've tried to hire marketing grads with college degrees in marketing, that they really have no concept of the day-to-day activities that are required in the marketing career field. And they come to the job prepared with marketing theory and nothing else. And you know, the way that the industry is constantly changing, there's no way you could write a curriculum that would be relevant next year. And so the stuff that we teach is just like social media marketing basics, you know, organic content communication basics. And we offer just a running class every other week to small business owners to just kind of empower them to do it themselves. And much of our business actually comes from that funnel. And so, you know, what we see is that we give them the tools and they start to use them, and they find that, you know, their business is growing and they need to be more focused on the growth and the internal management. And then they reach back out to us that, you know, now we need marketing support, or they just feel overwhelmed by the day-to-day activities, you know. So
well, it's the law of reciprocity, right? You do something nice for someone, they obviously kind of reciprocate your kindness. So you mentioned that you're running these free classes. Is that your main lead generator for your business right now then?
Primarily, it's really the only thing we've done as a true effort to source new clients. I mean, most of our clients come through to us organically through our website contact form or through referrals from current clients or past clients or network.
So you're not cold calling hundreds of people a day or going door knocking or anything like that?
No, I've had too much of that in my past life. So
no, that's absolutely awesome. So what kind of services are you actually providing for your client? You know, how are you helping them to grow their businesses?
So we offer custom plans. Our most popular plan is our basic monthly marketing package. And we just, like I said, we aim to function as an outsourced marketing department. And so we put together a custom package of strategies. So social media content on multiple channels regularly, at least 3 times per week. Unique content per channel is super important for us. So that it's optimized and it renders properly on the news feeds. And we also offer within that plan website management. We do monthly blogging at the determined frequency that's beneficial for the client. We do guest post blogging on sites that we host ourselves, link development, citation management. We'll send out.
This is all in one package, is it?
Yes. And I think the thing that makes us unique is that we have a fixed rate for our small business clients. And so we keep our rate exactly the same for them each month. And when they reach out to us and have a grassroots campaign they want to initiate or a flyer design that they need, that doesn't cost them anything additional to have that on our plate. We just internally restructure the strategies that we are currently using for that client and deprioritize some of the lower level stuff in order to accommodate those tasks.
Right. So in terms of, I suppose, reporting back on results, because at the end of the day, everybody wants to make an, you know, ROI on their investment. You know, what kind of metrics are you, I suppose, keeping a track of with them and, you know, sharing with them in your catch-ups?
Sure. So it obviously it varies per client and industry, but at the beginning of any campaign, we determine what KPIs are important to be measuring. Typically, we're measuring for every client the amount of traffic to the website, the time on site, the amount of traveled pages, conversion data, whether it's lead form submissions or purchases with their product catalog. And we create custom reports that we write ourselves. So we don't use an automated report generator like many of our peers in the agency world do, because we find that those reports are a little bit difficult to digest for our small business clients. And so we offer reporting dashboards that we put together through Data Studio, but most of our clients never look at them. So we summarize all of the data, and typically we report on, search rankings,
Right.
the basic criteria for the website, and then we always include a written summary, either by me or our account manager, who just assesses like, this is what we see, this is what this data means, and this is
Right.
what we plan to do with it moving forward.
Right. And in terms of, I suppose, revenue and monetary growth, how long does it take your typical client to see the benefits that you and your team bring them? Is it something that takes, I don't know, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, maybe quicker?
So I feel like it's a little bit interesting. So 2020 is just kind of like a data outlier for us. It's really hard to say like with any certainty anymore, like timelines or consumer patterns, going off of 2020 data. Last year, we saw quicker results on almost every strategy that we utilize. So we saw faster indexing with keyword rankings. We saw increased traffic. We saw like just within 3 months of even starting a brand new website, which has not been our typical experience. So I would say,
Wow.
Our past experience has shown us that it takes about 6 months to have that real organic indexing, and that foundation really solidified. And that I always caution our clients and temper their expectations, because we typically are not running a ton of advertising campaigns. I believe that it's a better investment long-term with the organic content, because it will keep them growing. But we see most of our clients stay with us for at least a year or more. We only require a 6-month commitment for our clients because we want that baseline. But we see after the first 6 months, almost a double in traffic to their site, and then at least a double in traffic to their site every year after. And we just did a case study with e-commerce last year. Was kind of insane. So 2019 over 2020 data, we had an over $100,000 revenue increase for a client that we didn't run any advertising at all for. Literally just organic marketing and email marketing communications to their list. So that I mean, we'll see how 2021 goes.
Yeah, well, you mentioned you've obviously got 30 plus clients all over the US. How has 2020 been for most of your clients? Because obviously we're going through this global pandemic, and I know in the US your situation varies state by state depending on what the governor wants to do. But how has the pandemic affected or impacted your clients?
It really varied by industry. So our e-commerce clients seem to do fine, if not much better than years past. There are clients here that really couldn't operate. So we have, service-based clients, massive therapy and wellness related clients that like just really had to shut down due to the governor orders for a good 3 months. In the early part of the pandemic, we reached out to our clients and offered a break, which many of them were very grateful for. And all of them who did take us up on our offer returned to us in the summer when they were allowed to reopen. Overall, though, we've had no client, like taking the entire year into account, have any kind of economic impact or downturn to their overall revenue, which is very encouraging.
Yeah.
It seems like in our community, at least, a vast majority of our clients are local to Northeast Ohio. People here are very excited and motivated to be supporting the local business community. And it just seems like that's a trend in a lot of places. And so that's been a very encouraging thing as well.
Yeah, stop spending money on Amazon, right? Buy locally. Now you're supporting quite a number of clients there. What does your internal structure look like? I mean, do you have a team? How big is it? What do your team do, and what do you focus on?
Sure. So I still am very integrated in the day-to-day work. However, I'm not as much involved in the strategy of the writing of the content as much as I used to. I'm still the primary website designer and graphic designer. I have a little bit of an education background in graphic design, so that typically falls on my plate, but I have a staff of 6, and most of them are writers. We have an operations administrator, and then we have a content director that manages and delegates all of our content responsibilities for social and blogging. And then we also run an internship program, a 15-week internship program every semester. So about 3 times a year. We bring in as many as 3 interns. Right now we have 2 who come in for primarily educational, like the internship. So I do a training with them every week on a different subject in digital marketing. And then they are given content jobs to do throughout the week until their next training.
Right.
Typically, we're only assigning them about 5 hours of work each because we want the internship to be an educational piece for them to complement their marketing education.
Mm-hmm.
But we also extend it to some high school students in the area because we have an entrepreneurship program here, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, it's quite awesome actually what you're doing. And I'm guessing most of your team is based from Northeast Ohio, or is that kind of right? Okay, so truly a local business then that you've created there.
Yeah, we've tried doing the remote work and hiring employees in other states, but there's just something about like being able to come into the office and do the brainstorming sessions in person that we just haven't been able to really make it work for like exclusive remote work. So we're very flexible with our staff. We don't manage time clocks or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
And we give a lot of autonomy to our staff, so they are allowed to work from home a good majority of the week, but we do have requirements of like in person so that we can really touch base and
Mm-hmm.
all be on the same page in order to collaborate.
Right. And obviously you've learned quite a few lessons over the course of hiring 6 people. I suppose what has been, or what have been your biggest challenges in growing your team to 6? I suppose that could help someone who's looking to expand their operations.
Oh yeah, that by far managing employees and hiring is the most difficult part of owning an agency. I find that it's very difficult to hire marketing grads, and most often, especially for our content marketing positions, like they don't have any experience in their college education regarding like managing a social content calendar or using or editing a website interface, which I think is a real shame.
Mm-hmm.
So I've actually pivoted to opening up our hiring to writing teachers, creative writing poets, psychology majors. I think understanding that consumer behavior element is super important, and psychology majors often make a really good content writer as a result. And typically like we've just pivoted honestly to a different approach with our hiring process because it's so time intensive and expensive for agencies to invest in training a new hire.
Yeah.
And it's been difficult for us because a lot of them don't work out, and that there's a lot lost there in that first 6 weeks that they're with us. And so we've pivoted to doing more of like a panel style interview. Our internal culture is very important. And so, personalities, meshing in the office, being able to collaborate, shared interests, that kind of stuff is important to us. And so we bring people in now to do interviews with the entire upper management team and we have like a shadow day as part of the interview. So we actually see like real concrete work from the prospect employee, and we're able to hire with a little bit more certainty in this instance. And that has been a game changer for us. We also hired over the last year, so we hired an external HR company to kind of take that off of our plates, for like the legalities and the technical stuff and payroll and all those things. And that has opened up like my day a lot, and given me a lot of opportunity to kind of focus on future growth planning within the company and not be so bogged down in the minutia of those like tasks of hiring employees.
Yeah, of course. Okay. You want to focus on your, I suppose, core strengths rather than deal with admin bits, I suppose. So how do you measure performance within your agency? Is it a case of you need to produce X pieces of content by a certain time, or do you use another standard?
So we give timelines, like allotted time per task that we assign. We also use an internal like project management software called Asana, which is incredibly helpful for us. We have project boards based on which clients we're working on, and then it's easy for us to assign specific tasks. So based on the employee hours that they are set to work, we assign the tasks to fit into their hours. We're assuming that, I give a little bit of a cushion, but if you are well trained and you understand the softwares that we use, we assume that it should take no more than a couple hours to write a 600-word blog post, 2 to 3 hours to write a 30-day content calendar. And then that's really and then their actual content is like what we're assessing when we do our reviews with our employees, their ability to be able to time manage and meet deadlines on their own. I'm not super interested in micromanaging somebody's day-to-day. And so that's a big criteria for us that we look for when we hire, is that what is your ability to manage your own time? Like, are you able to stay focused on tasks? Do you have things that help you with, staying focused during the day? We do offer, support and training in time management should an employee need it. But after a certain point, it's like you have it or you don't have it. So that's pretty much how we assess.
Right. Now, a lot of people who'd be watching this, they might have, just set up by themselves. They are an agency, but they're really a glorified freelancer. But obviously they have ambitions to grow. At what point did you realize, okay, it's time to bring someone on and I suppose move on to the next level?
So it took me about 3 years within starting my agency. I started just as myself as a consultant, and then realized that I couldn't work more than the hours that I was currently working. And if I wanted to make any more money, there would have to be more clients coming in.
Right.
And so, it's a place every business owner gets to. And it's a difficult decision to make because it's comfortable where you are when you hit your ceiling. But if it becomes kind of a heavy burden that you place on your own shoulders, because if you get sick or if you want to take a vacation, there's nobody else to pick up after you. The difficult thing about hiring is that you have to take a pay cut for a while until you get back to where you were, and then can grow from there. And so that was a hard pill to swallow. My mom gave me some amazing advice a while ago, and she said, what she was like, I was stressed about having no time to do some of the things that I wanted to do. And, she's like, well, hire somebody, and that's another paycheck that you're paying out. So like, hire somebody to clean your house. Well, then that's another expense that I have to add into my budget. And she sat me down and she said, yeah, but you're paying yourself to do it. So how much is your time worth? And if my time is worth $100 an hour, and I can pay somebody else to do this at $20 an hour, then that frees up my time to make $100 in that hour and to still be profitable, right? And so the way that she told me that really had me reframe it. And it's just some of the stuff that was on my plate before I started hiring people. It was like, is this $100 an hour work? You know, is the client really getting the best deal from me on what I'm able to accomplish in these hours? Or can I kind of divide this work out and bring in more clients? And that was like a really big turning point for me.
Right. Okay. That's awesome. So final question for you. What are your plans for the future? What do you hope to achieve this year and beyond?
Yeah, it's funny you should ask. I just had my team do a goal planning workshop with me where we kind of broke out like where we thought the company would be in 5 years and 2 years next year. So our goals are just to keep growing. We would like to have at least 10 more clients on our books by the end of the year, and at least 2 more full-time employees. And we have some big aspirations for the next, several years. We'd like to own our own building, and we would like to have a staff of, 10 to 15, real full-time staff that, are dedicated account managers for clients, so that clients are really getting, the white glove treatment ongoing. And we're big community advocates. And so personally, my goals for the company are that we integrate ourselves even more so into our community, sponsor more events, participate in more volunteer opportunities. We live in a place right now where we're experiencing kind of like a small business renaissance. And so our offices are surrounded by at least 10 or 15 new businesses that have just started up within the last couple years. And so it's very exciting. And I think my goals are just that, like, as Marketing Juice, like, we provide whatever support we can to like continue this community growth initiative.
That's awesome. That's absolutely awesome. Now, if someone is watching this and they want to find out about, your free social media classes or more about Marketing Juice and yourself, where's the best place to find you?
So our website has everything that you could possibly ever want to know. We actually have some super fun blog post series up this month. We did a women's history series, and I had everybody on the team write about an inspiring female entrepreneur that they chose. So our Marketing Juice website is marketingjuice.biz, B-I-Z. And then email is usually the best way to get a hold of me. And I welcome, anybody who wants to connect, and I can be reached at Miranda, Miranda at marketingjuice.biz.
Awesome. On that note, Miranda, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me. This was fun.